Good morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fit and fine. So, this is your lecture 2 from the chapter 11, The Making of the Nationalist Movement from 1870s till 1947. So, in the previous lecture from this chapter, we have talked about basically, I have given you an introduction how basically these different movements has converted us into bringing our country's independence. And in the first part, we have studied about the emergence of nationalism. Like people in India, they just thought that the emergence, the awareness of getting the feeling of independence out of the control of British rule is what they were getting in the first phase of this particular nationalist movement. That was India was the people of India with all the people, irrespective of their class, color, caste, creed, language, or gender. They all are Indians, and this country belongs to them. So the awareness of being Indian and that its resources and systems were meant for all of them, they need to see the trace of nature and they have to come out of the control and what is the basic role of Britishers in India. So basically, we have talked about Purn Swaraj Sabha and many other associations who were helped them while giving awareness to different kind of people in different parts of area. They work with the idea that the people should be suffrage, that is a modern consciousness and the key feature of nationalism. Then there were different acts that have been came up till now that we have studied. Now in today's lecture, what are the basic things that we are going to discuss and will be learning will be the topics to be covered in this particular lecture will be, the first one is the growth of mass nationalism. So basically in this particular topic we will be learning about how these emergence, like after the, like how when there was a leader, what were the major events that came across and that has given a growth in the nationalist movement. Then we'll be talking about the advent of Mahatma Gandhi, how Mahatma Gandhi have adverted all these movements, and he have like given a diversion of path to all the followers that he was having towards finding Swaraj or independence for the country. Then we'll be talking about the Rowlatt Satyagraha Act, and then I will be discussing the homework that I will be assigning you into this particular lecture. So these will be the topics that we will be covering in this lecture. So everyone, please be ready with your books, with your notebook where you can write down your notes and one pen in your hand for writing down your notes. So now I am just starting with the lecture. So first of all, the first topic that we are going to discuss will be the growth of mass nationalism. Like after 1919, the struggle against British rule gradually became a mass movement. Like before that, people were just getting aware that they need to like get out of the British rule and they need to aware themselves that Britishers are ruling them and they need to come out from that. So they need certain keeping a stand for themselves. They need suffrage. So for that, that was a kind of a awareness and a movement that have been started. But after 1919, the main struggle against British rule was gradually becoming a mass movement where all of the people are coming together and initiating these particular things so that they can get their Swaraj. So in these particular movements, they involve peasants, they involve tribals, students, women in large numbers, and occasionally there were factory workers as well as who were taking part in this mass nationalist movements. But certain business groups too began to actively support the Congress in the 1920s. Why was this so? But basically the business groups, so they were in the advantage zone where the Britishers were also supporting them in one way, but still in certain business groups were trying to actively part and support the Congress in 1920 with these particular movements that they were initiating with. Why they were doing so, we'll get to know further. See, basically the First World War that happened, it altered the economic and political situation in India. So basically when the First World War happened, it has distracted, it has been created a very much the economic and political situation was so degraded, it was so gotten down that it had led to a huge rise in the defense expenditure of the government of India. So basically all the expenditure that was being granted for like food and other purposes, they were giving it more to the defense expenditure. Basically, they were using to make arms, for like making guns and other kind of defense products. They were making it. So the government of India was investing more in that, and rest of the things were basically like facing a very much hike because they were increased in taxes and other things as well. So they need to generate certain money. So the government in turn increased the taxes on individuals' income and business profits as well. So that was a very wrong thing that was happening with Indians, and they were taking a stand for this particular thing. They increased the military expenditure, and the demand for war supplies led to a sharp rise in prices, which created great difficulties for the common people. So basically, where the government have given a huge rise for, like, they have invested more in the military expenditure because the demand for the war supplies was very much increased because the situation. So this has led to a very sharp rise in the prices of other things, which created very difficult, like a lot of difficulty for the common people, mostly because they were not able to like generate money for themselves. They were not able to have food for themselves. But on the other hand, the business group repelled fabulous profit from the war. But in the other hand, we see that the business group wale all the persons who were there, they were taking all the benefit out of this war situation. As we have seen in chapter number 7 as well, the war created a demand for industrial goods. See, basically, इसमें जो that the war have been created a large kind of a demand for the industrial goods as well, like jute bags, cotton, rails, and so many other things. That has caused a decline of imports from other countries into India. So basically उनका business अच्छा चल रहा था just because उनकी demand बढ़ गई थी और import duties उनको इतनी नहीं देनी पड़ती थी from other countries that which they were actually giving them previously a lot of amount. So their main amount has been saved there. So that's why they were in major profit because of this situation. And Indian industrialists expanded during the war, and Indian business group began to demand greater opportunities for development. See, basically, all these Indian industrialists, they were expanding their particular kind of business during the particular war, and Indian business groups, they also started to begin demanding greater opportunities for development. Now, the war also led to the British to expand their army. See, basically, the war also have a different range of things, where they have led to expanding the army level, where they need that the Britisher were also helping us with this, that they were expanding the army and they were fighting back with them. The villagers were pressurized to supply soldiers for an alien cause. Even those who don't want to take a part in this like war situation, and they don't want to be in the army, they were still forced. They were forcing them to take the part. Especially the villagers were also pressurized to supply soldiers for an alien cause. Like alien cause is like a very minor thing that they need to like give away that particular thing. So a large number of soldiers were sent to serve abroad. So basically they were not ready to like take part in this army way, but a large number of soldiers were sent to serve abroad, and many returned after the war with an understanding of the ways in which imperialist powers were exploiting the people of Asia and Africa, and with the desire to oppose colonial rule in India. So basically, many of them have returned back after the war with an understanding of the ways in which imperialist powers were exploiting more with the people of Asia and Africa, with most of they were desiring to oppose the colonial rule in India that was happening. Now, furthermore, in 1970, there was a revolution in Russia that happened, and news that majorly came from from peasants and workers' struggles and the ideas of socialism circulated widely, inspiring Indian nationalists. See, basically, all the news that was coming up was about the struggles, the major struggles that was facing by the peasants and workers at that time, because everyone was getting the benefit, but the loss that have been facing was by the lower caste people and the who cannot earn much. So basically, the ideas of socialism circulated widely, inspiring Indian nationalists. Now, the next topic that we are going to discuss is about the advent of Mahatma Gandhi. how Mahatma Gandhi emerged as the mass leader, and he has issued all these particular movements for the India Swaraj and for our independence. So it is in these circumstances that Mahatma Gandhi emerged as a mass leader. Like, if you know that Gandhiji, he was like age 46 when he arrived in India in 1915 from South Africa, which was having led Indians in that country in non-violent marches against racism restrictions, and he was already a respected leader. See, basically, at that time, Indians were, there was a country which was facing a lot of things, a lot of drawback that they were having, and with that, Mahatma Gandhi was bringing non-violence marches against all the racist restrictions that was happening. He was already a very respected leader in internationally, where in South Africa he had done a lot of campaigns, and he have brought him in contact with various type of Indians like Hindus, Muslims, Parsis and Christians, Gujaratis, Tamils and North Indians too. And the upper class merchants too, he was also very much in contact with him, all the lawyers and workers too. Now Mahatma Gandhi has spent his first year in India traveling throughout the country, understanding the people, their needs and the overall situation. His earliest intervention were in local movements was in Champaran. So Mahatma Gandhi has initiated a lot of traveling around the country. He has seen the condition, what India was facing at that point of time. He was understanding the situation of the people around them, what they need, what was the overall situation of India. He have traveled a lot, and then he have initiated to start with certain movements. So in his earliest intervention, we are in local movements in Champaran, Khera and Ahmedabad, where he came into contact with Rajendra Prasad and Vallabhbhai Patel. They started with that they should start certain movement for them, so but in a non-violence way. They don't want violence to be coming up, so that if you are true to your path, his main ideology was that only, that if you are true to your path, you don't need violence to get something. You can do it with peace. You can do that particular thing with peacefully. If you have trust in yourself, what you are doing is right, so you can do it with non-violence too. So he believed in that. So in Ahmedabad, he led a very successful mill worker strike in 1918. And let us now focus in some detail of the movements that was organized between 1990 till 1922. So what were the major events and movements that was organized by Mahatma Gandhi, and what happened in these particular years between 1990 and 1922? So the first and main, the most famous act that happened in between 1990 was the Rolex Satyagraha Act. Like in 1990, Gandhiji gave a call for the Satyagraha against the Rolex Act that the British had just passed. Basically, Gandhiji have called a Satyagraha movement where there was a Rolex Act that was passed by Britishers. And in this particular act that have initiated that all the fundamental rights that was having with an individual will be restrained with the police powers, as the freedom of expression is not being given to any human being, and they have strengthened the power of police force morally. So Mahatma Gandhi, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and others felt that the movement had no right to restrict the basic freedom of any individual. That is the basic right that anyone can speak for themselves, anyone can roam around. That was being restricted by them. So basically, they were initiating that. They felt that the government has no right to restrict people's basic freedom. So they criticized the act as dualist, that you are like, how can you so be evil to such a human level that you are restricting that they cannot come out of their zone also. So basically they were traumatizing them, they were criticizing them a lot. Gandhiji asked the Indian people to observe 6 April 1919 as a day of non-violent opposition to this particular act. So उन्होंने एक initiate निकाला था गांधी जी ने इस चीज में, that on 6 April 1919, that was the day of non-violence. He was the opposition to this act as a day of humanization and prayer. And हड़ताल को हम basically strike कहते हैं, where all the people get together and oppose a particular thing. in front of, they keep their things in front of the government. So Satyagraha Sabha were set up to launch this particular movement. Now in the Rawlings Satyagraha Act, they turned out to be the first all India struggle against the British government. Altogether, it was largely restricted to the cities. So basically in the Satyagraha Act, they turned out to be the first all India struggle that was happening, and every individual, मतलब इंडिया में सारे लोग इस particular act के against थे, and the British government altogether is largely restricted to in the cities. So उनको ज़्यादा restrictions रखनी पड़ गई थी cities के अंदर. So in April 1990, there were a number of demonstrations and hartals in the country that happened in the country, and the government used brutal measures to suppress them. So basically, people were coming out in groups and they were like violating these particular things. They were speaking for themselves that this is wrong. They were doing strikes, they were doing hartals. But for that, in against of that, the government was using very brutal measures. They were beating them. They were they was like giving them such abusive things. They were brutally like treating them. They was taking them to jail and beating them there as well. So after that, if you have heard about the Jallianwala Bagh atrocities that has inflicted by General Dyer in Amritsar on Baisakhi Day, 13th April, where a part of his repression that happened. On learning about the massacre, Rabindranath Tagore expressed the pain and anger of the country by renouncing his knighthood. So basically, उनको knighthood जो दिया गया था as a honor by these Britishers, he have given back because he was so much in pain that how can you be so cruel that you killed so many people all together and you don't even have that kind of जिसको हम कहते हैं as a humanist thing that is left within you. So I don't need your kind of praising or anything. I don't need your knighthood. You just take it away. I don't need it anymore. So during the Rawlings Satyagraha, the participants tried to ensure that the Hindus and Muslims were united in the fight against the British rule. This was also the call of Mahatma Gandhi, who always saw India as a land of all the people who lived in a country, Hindus, Muslims, and those of other religions too. He was keen that Hindus and Muslims support each other in any just cause. So during the Rawlings Satyagraha Act, he initiated that all the participants should try to ensure that Hindus and Muslims should be united against all this British rule. This was the call for Mahatma Gandhi, and he has always initiated that India is a land of all the people, not for one particular religion. So he have like all the respect for Hindus, Muslims, and all the other religions too. He was keen that Hindus and Muslims were supporting each other in any case scenario. Now the next important thing that happened, I am just talking about, is the Khilafat agitation and the non-cooperation movement that we are going to talk about. I haven't mentioned there, but I am mentioning here too. The first is that the Khilafat issue was one such cause. So basically, the situation happened in Jallianwala Bagh that has created a lot of anger in the heart of people, and they started with this thing, the Khilafat issue, that was also known as the non-cooperation movement, was one such cause. In 1920, the British imposed a harsh treaty on the Turkish Sultan or Khalifa. People were furious about this, and they had been about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Also, the Indian Muslims were keen that the Khilafah be allowed to retain control over Muslim sacred places in the erstwhile Ottoman Empire. See, basically what happened, जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे जलियांवाला बाग इंसिडेंट हुआ था, similarly for the Muslims too, one important event that happened that has caused them to issue Khilafat movement. See, basically in 1920, the Britisher was very much harsh towards जो कि ओनर थे इन मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के, दैट वाज द टर्किश सुल्तान और खलीफा जिसे हम कहते थे, उनको उन्होंने मार दिया था. So basically people were very furious that they had been about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre also happened. So Indian and Muslims were keen that the Khalifa be allowed to retain control over Muslim sacred places in the erstwhile Ottoman Empire, and the leaders of the Khilafat agitation, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, they both come together and they wish to initiate a full-fledged non-cooperation movement against these Britishers. And with both of them, Gandhiji also supported, and they are called and urged the Congress to campaign against the British, the Punjab wrongs that happened, the Jallianwala Bagh incident that happened, and the Khilafat wrong that happened. They demanded Swaraj from them, that now we want that there should be a complete independence. Now the non-cooperation movement gained a very good momentum through in 1921 and 22, where thousands of students they left the government-controlled schools and colleges, and many lawyers such as Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das, S. Rajagopal Acharya, and Asaf Ali gave up their practices from these colleges and lawyership. Now the British titles were surrendered and legislatures boycotted them. Now people lit public bonfires of foreign clothes, and the imports of foreign clothes fell drastically between 1920 and 1922. See, basically the British titles were surrendered by all these Indians. They were not taking anything from them. The legislature they boycotted the legislative department. People in the public, they boycotted the foreign clothes. The import from the foreign clothes that was coming up, that was drastically like वो इतना गिर गया था उनका जो इम्पोर्ट वाला था, दैट बिटवीन 1920-22, दैट उनको कुछ पैसे ही नहीं मिल पा रहे थे इंडिया से आधा. All this was mostly the tip of the iceberg. Large part of the countries were on the brink of the formidable revolt. So that's it for today's lecture. I'm just discussing it till here. We'll continue in the next lecture. So please read the chapter, do understand whatever you haven't understood till now, and let me know your doubt, any queries that you are having in the online class. I'm there to explain you each and everything again. But still, if you have any doubt, any queries, you can let me know in my online classes that we'll be having. Now the homework that I want to assign you with this particular thing is these 4 questions that you have to do. The first question is to describe the event of Gandhiji's arrival to India from South Africa. Question number 2, how did the First World War alter the economic and political situation in India? Question number 3, what had happened in Chauri Chaura that Gandhiji called off his non-cooperation movement? And question number 4, what was the process adopted by revolutionary nationalists such as Bhagat Singh and his comrades for fighting colonial rule and the rich exploiting classes? So these are the 4 questions that you have to do as a homework, and if you have any doubt related to today's lecture and homework, let me know in the online class. I'm there to help you out. So that's it. Please take care of yourself, and thank you so much for listening to this class.